Well, when we talk about homelessness, it's a lot of people having to be involved. It's city, it's other cities, it's the county, it's the state, it's even the federal government. So there's always a lot of partners and a lot of moving pieces simultaneously. Right now in February and March of this year, we're still in wintertime, and the overflows for emergency beds are operating right now. The former Ramada on North Temple has been seeing a good number of folks going in there. The motel rooms we've had for a couple of years, the current resource centers are running at very high capacity. So the providers are doing a great job of keeping those doors open, trying to include as many beds as possible every night for everybody who wants to, who can come inside. We always need more, but they're doing a great job right now. As we look forward, the city is still doing its community commitment program. And that's our commitment as a city to make sure that our public spaces are safe for everybody and as clean as we can keep them. And so we ask the public to continue to report when there's garbage issues or human health issues, and we can make sure that we have advantage services come out and clean. We can address issues as they come up on public streets and parks. And we're also doing a lot of services outreach. So we know there are still camps in the city. We know that they're mostly smaller than they were in the past. And the city is working with the Volunteers of America, Utah, particularly in other outreach, to go out, offer services as often as we possibly can per week, get people into the resource centers as much as possible, get their stuff into a storage facility as much as possible, get them hooked up to the courts or to food needs or healthcare needs, whatever it is. That's all still happening on a daily basis throughout the city. So we still ask the public to keep working with us, keep letting us know where there's issues we need to address, and we'll keep sending people out to do that this wintertime. The big thing that's happened since the last few weeks is the state legislature. They convened for 45 days. They recently closed their session, and a couple of things came out that are very beneficial. Number one, the State Homelessness Mitigation Fund, which is the state fund that helps all the cities with resource centers to provide public services. That fund was almost doubled in size this year. And so there'll be about $10 million going forward. There's a new formula that's a little more equitable for cities like Salt Lake City. So we'll get much more than we have in the past. We've been getting about 400,000 or less per year. And we're going to get probably 2.75 million at least going into next year, which will be very helpful for our outreach services, our law enforcement, the things that we're already providing. The other thing that's critical about that is there is a plan going forward from the state-led to the local cities in this county to find a plan by September for overflow. And so we'll be participating in that discussion with other cities in the county and the Coalition to End Homelessness to have a plan in place as soon as possible before September that'll be workable for everyone. So we're not in this crisis again next year. We've been in for 3 years running. The other piece that's going to be long-term, perhaps the most important, is state affordable housing money. Now, the city's done a lot in the recent years about getting city money to help private developers build deeply affordable housing and affordable housing. We need a lot more of that from the entire state, though. And the legislature approved $55 million towards that statewide. We wish it would have been a lot more, but it's a big step forward from the state where we desperately need that housing. And because housing is really the primary way that people are going to get out of homelessness on average. We also know that there's service money attached to that, and activating Medicaid money and other service provisions will help folks with mental illness and mental health issues, substance use issues, all the things that might complicate their ability to get and maintain housing.
As we're looking at next steps, what should people be looking for to see the city doing and what's sort of in the process already?
Well, I think the biggest thing is making sure there's a bigger coalition of people to work on this. The city spent over $60 million on affordable housing, and it's not nearly enough because we can't do it alone. So we needed the other cities to step in with zoning. We need the state to step in with money and to help with those things. That is what we need to solve this. We need the county support with their behavioral health services. We need all of that together, right? From the city's end, we got to keep doing our part. That means continuing to put money towards affordable housing, which we're doing every year. We need to help zoning with the right type of housing, the right neighborhoods that'll address this. And there's various measures in front of the city council right now. The other thing from the city end is the city council is currently evaluating a text amendment that looks at what is our zoning for emergency shelter beds or homeless resource centers. They'll be looking at that in the next few weeks, getting public comment on that, and trying to make some decisions about how the city can be a leader, obviously, because we're the capital city, but also to promote best practices and work with all of our neighbors and partners to make sure that all of us are carrying this load.
For residents in the city who want to keep up with this and learn more about this, all of the issues in general, where can they go? Who can they reach out to?
Well, the first thing is the city website. So the mayor's office, there's a city dashboard. They can look at real-time information on homelessness and our efforts. And then the city council website also, where they can track the city council discussions about the zoning amendments and things. The other place I would go is the Salt Lake Valley Coalition to End Homelessness. They have a website, and I would go there to get the plans for this county on how to address this long term, because that's crucial for folks to understand that there is longer term planning going on, but we had to make sure that from a state and a local level, we have the right funding and resources and zoning to make those plans operational.